My marriage to Sophia was a product of a commercial alliance. For 3 years, our relationship was strictly transactional. We spoke of intimacy, never of affection. Today, I chose my words carefully. Scarlett's back. We should. Sophia, standing on tiptoe to knot my tie, paused. Her hands stilled for a moment before she gave a quiet nod. Understood, she replied softly. Draft the divorce agreement and let me know. I'll pack my things and move out today. Sophia released the tie, half nodded, and turned quietly towards the bedroom. The cotton slippers she wore made no sound on the hardwood floor, her movements silent, like a cat's. A sudden pang of guilt pricked me. After all, we had shared a roof for over 1,000 days and nights. 3 years, a lifetime to some. Packing isn't that urgent, I said, the words sounding hollow even to my own ears. Scarlett, she might not even want this house. Scarlett was particular about everything. It felt like I was already asking a lot for her to marry me, a man with a previous marriage. She would likely object to living in a house that Sophia had inhabited. My plan was to buy a spacious penthouse in the city center as our marital home. It would be more convenient for Scarlett's work anyway. Sophia murmured a quiet, Though she agreed verbally, when I returned home from work that evening, she was gone. Her side of the closet was empty. The clothes she wore regularly vanished. The limited edition designer pieces I had bought her every year, the ones she never wore, were also gone. Her wedding ring sat silently on the coffee table. The used bed linens had been stripped, replaced with a brand new set. The house was so clean it felt as though she had never lived here at all. It struck me then, with a chilling certainty, that perhaps Sophia had been ready to leave from the moment she moved in 3 years ago. That's why she had never hung a single decoration on the walls or moved any of the furniture. True, we had signed a private agreement before the wedding. If either of us found someone we loved, the marriage would automatically end. But Sophia's swift and clean departure, the complete detachment, left a strange sting of irritation in my heart. It proved she held no lingering attachment to our past. And here I was, having wasted time worrying the divorce might hurt her too deeply. So when Scarlett called via video that night, I acted with a touch of spiteful retaliation. Ethan, can you come keep me company? I'm afraid of the dark alone, Scarlett asked, her voice small and vulnerable, wearing a revealing negligee on the screen. Come to my place, I heard myself say, my heart melting instantly at her plea. Scarlett arrived shortly after. Shedding her elegant coat in the hallway revealed the very same delicate lace negligee she'd been wearing on the call. We were intimate. Right there on the bed Sophia had meticulously prepared just hours before. What did it matter? We were only a divorce certificate away. To hell with Sophia. My wife was Scarlett. She was the woman I had dreamed of marrying since I was 18. Unlike Sophia's careful nature, her absolute meticulousness with precautions, Scarlett spoke of the fusion of spirit and flesh. She didn't want a layer between us. That night, I experienced an unprecedented thrill, a wild, unrestrained passion that felt both exhilarating and dangerous. Later, as I lay there, completely drained and profoundly satisfied, a strange, intrusive thought crept into my mind. Would Sophia someday lie beneath another man, finding this same kind of connection? A sudden surge of inexplicable irritation washed over me. How petty I was. I had only slept with her, after all, and I didn't even love her. After the divorce, we would both be free to marry others, wouldn't we? Wasn't that the deal we'd made? What was I even thinking about? But the restless feeling wouldn't subside. Scarlett saw I wasn't sleeping and started to provoke me again, her hand tracing patterns on my chest. The suppressed fire in my heart, born of frustration and something I couldn't name, finally found an explosive release. We carried on late into the night. Eventually, Scarlett fell asleep sweetly in my arms. I kissed her forehead, her cheek. My beloved woman was right beside me. In that moment, my life felt complete, perfectly aligned with the future I had always wanted. Scarlett had suffered for years because of me, and now that we were finally back together, I vowed to make it up to her, to give her everything she deserved. When I was 18, I clashed fiercely with my father over my choice of university major. I ran away, ending up alone and penniless in a strange city, where I met Scarlett. She had dropped out of high school and was working to make ends meet. She was like an angel descended from heaven, offering me the scraps from the cake shop where she worked. When I had nowhere to stay that night, she made a makeshift bed on the floor beside her single mattress. That kind, poor girl, afraid I would be cold, insisted I take the bed while she slept on the hard floor. It was then that I fell in love with her. For 4 years of university, we carried on a secret long-distance relationship. Whenever I had a moment free, I would rush to see her. When I graduated, I told my family I wanted to marry Scarlett. My mother was so enraged she was hospitalized, and my father resorted to corporal punishment. But my heart was set. In this life, I wanted no one but Scarlett. My father cut off my allowance, and I was so poor I had to work alongside Scarlett, doing menial jobs just to survive. While the tension with my parents was at its peak, Scarlett was the one who proposed we break up. "Perhaps your uncle and aunt are right," she said, her voice full of a wisdom that felt beyond her years. "We don't belong in the same world. Marrying me would only make your originally smooth path so much harder. Let's both let go. Love not blessed by your parents won't bring happiness." After that, she vanished completely from my world. I wept and raged at my father. "You have no idea what a good girl you drove away," I screamed, tears blurring my vision. "Do you know you've ruined my life because of your sheer ignorance and prejudice?" My father's face twisted with rage, his nose seeming to bend sideways. "Good?" I could tell at a glance whether she was good. "As long as I have a breath left in my body, she will never cross the threshold of the Miller family." What the hell could he tell? His eyes saw nothing but profit, nothing but so-called social standing and pedigree. Years passed. As I grew older, my mother's health began to deteriorate, and she constantly urged me to marry. How could I marry? I hadn't even dated since Scarlett left. It was around this time that the Hayes family set their sights on a piece of land belonging to our family. In return, my father set his sights on the Hayes' younger daughter, Sophia. Sophia, in our circle, was frankly unremarkable. While other heirs clamored for attention, striving to be charming and well-connected, Sophia was an anomaly. She simply loved to read. Despite somehow managing to be the city's top student on her exams, she chose philosophy as her major, which became a running joke in our circles. In the upper echelons of society, a wolf-like mindset was valued. Anyone with an ounce of sense knew to study finance or management, subjects that would be beneficial for inheriting wealth and managing companies. But Sophia? She not only studied philosophy as an undergraduate, but continued pursuing master's and doctoral degrees in the same field. She had 2 older brothers. Her academic choices were tantamount to publicly stating her position. She was willingly relinquishing her claim to the family inheritance, content to pick up whatever scraps her brothers didn't want. It was this very wooden block of a girl, this academic recluse, that her father traded for a piece of land, giving her to my father. And so, she became my wife. I didn't love her. She wore glasses all the time, always went without makeup, and constantly had her nose buried in a book. What man would find such a dull, rigid woman attractive? So I laid down 3 conditions for the marriage. First, a prenuptial agreement to notarize our assets. Second, neither of us was to interfere in the other's private life. Third, the marriage would be kept secret, and it would automatically dissolve the moment either of us found someone we truly loved. Sophia didn't hesitate or argue much. She simply pushed up her glasses, signed the papers, and extended her pale hand. "Mr. Miller," she said quietly, "please guide me in the future." I glanced at her hand coldly, ignored it, turned, and walked away. Sophia didn't seem bothered. She moved into my apartment the night we registered our marriage. Fortunately, she had the sense to settle into the guest bedroom without complaint. A few days later, I noticed a ring on her ring finger. Where did that come from? I hadn't bought her one. She nervously covered the plain band with her right hand, her cheeks flushing slightly. When I went home, my elder brother asked why I wasn't wearing a wedding ring, she murmured. "I bought one myself on the way home from work." I scoffed. "We Millers aren't so poor that we can't afford a diamond ring." That same day, I instructed my secretary to buy a pair of wedding rings, one for Sophia and one for myself. I didn't mention that my mother had also questioned why I wasn't wearing a wedding ring, hinting if I was already planning to be unfaithful. Might as well wear them. Save myself the nagging. The next morning, Scarlett woke up early and made a lavish breakfast for me. The table was piled high with dishes. I held her close, feeling profoundly happy. A wife like this, what more could a man possibly ask for? Sophia had also made breakfast for me once, but her hands, more accustomed to holding books than spatulas, were simply unsuited for the kitchen. The pancakes she made were like bricks, nearly cracking my teeth when I tried to bite into one. I had dismissively tossed it aside, rolled up my sleeves, and made noodles instead. Feeling generous, I had even given Sophia a portion. She had eaten it while giving me a thumbs up. So frustrating. What kind of woman didn't know how to cook? From then on, whenever she saw me heading for the kitchen, Sophia would put down her book and sit by the dining table expectantly, waiting like a little kitten for a handout. Later, when I was in a particularly good mood, she would even place specific orders. It wasn't until our second year of marriage, when the awkwardness between us had lessened, replaced by a strange, sort of comfortable intimacy, that I finally caught on. Sophia, I accused one day. I fell into your trap, didn't I? You just dumped all the cooking on me. Sophia simply giggled, a mischievous glint in her eyes. When it came to being a wife, Sophia really should have taken lessons from Scarlett. Scarlett, having worked in various restaurants, after dropping out of school, knew how to cook all kinds of delicious meals. I ate happily and contentedly every day she was here. But one morning, Scarlett sat across from me, holding her bowl of porridge, a hesitant look on her face. What's wrong? I asked. When are you going to divorce her? She finally asked, her voice soft. Sensing my potential reaction, she quickly added, I'm not trying to rush you. It's just that us living together before you're divorced, it doesn't look good. Maybe I should go back to my place tonight. I couldn't bear to let her leave. I immediately reached across the table and took her hand. Just a few days, I reassured her. I'll go handle it as soon as I finish this project. Don't worry, whether it's a day sooner or later, the outcome with her won't change. I pulled a black card from my pocket and handed it to her. When I have some free time in a few days, I'll take you ring shopping. For now, just go shopping yourself. Buy whatever you like. Don't hold back. Scarlett brightened, her face lighting up. She was as happy as a little bird, leaping into my arms and pulling at my clothes. Before I had even finished my breakfast, I was already indulging in her. These days, having my beloved woman right there felt like a dream I had never even dared to imagine before. On the way to the office, I called Sophia. Her phone was off. I couldn't help but frown. Didn't she say the divorce was straightforward yesterday? Was she deliberately ignoring my call now? When I arrived at the company, my secretary, Sarah, was playing a video on speakerphone. Was that Sophia's voice? I stepped forward to see, and Sarah quickly tried to hide her phone, startled. It's okay, I waved her off. It's before work hours. What are you watching? Sarah gave an embarrassed smile. It's the live stream of N University's viral philosophy professor. Her? A viral philosophy professor? I scoffed, dismissing the idea. That's right, boss. You don't know? Professor Sophia is incredibly popular at N University. So many students signed up for her class that the university had to set up an official live stream for her on their account. And then, it just blew up outside the university. All my friends love listening to her. She's so calming and completely healing. Sophia popular? This popular? I only knew she had stayed on at N University to teach after getting her PhD. But she had never mentioned anything about being popular. Sophia's voice on the stream was gentle and soothing, unhurried, calm, like a soft stream flowing into one's heart. No matter how restless I felt, just hearing her voice could slowly calm me down. On the stream, Sophia was still wearing her usual silver-rimmed glasses and a simple, plain dress. Perhaps for the camera, she had applied a light layer of lipstick, giving her usually serene little face a hint of unexpected liveliness. The screen was filled with comments and questions, showing just how popular the stream was. A young woman in the chat, heartbroken because her longtime crush had just gotten a girlfriend, poured out her sadness to Sophia. Sophia listened attentively, then smiled gently. Unrequited love is the most beautiful thing in the world, she said, her voice carrying clearly through the office. Everyone who is experiencing unrequited love becomes a romantic, like a poet. So, first, thank the man you have a crush on for turning you into a poet. Her words drew laughter from the viewers, and the screen filled with laughing emojis. Sophia pushed up her glasses and continued. Student, she said, her tone turning more serious yet still warm. I wish for your love to be fulfilled and for you to achieve success in your career. But life is inherently imperfect, and it is this imperfection that holds its beauty. I'll share words from Khalil Gibran with this heartbroken student. If one day you stop searching for love and simply love, stop desiring success and simply do, stop pursuing empty growth and start cultivating your character, then your life truly begins. And of course, the reason you feel this profound sadness today is nothing else. Congratulations, because you are still young. Thumbs up emojis flooded the comment section. Sarah turned back to me, beaming. See? Isn't Professor Sue amazing? Just okay. I replied coolly, hiding the involuntary upward curve of my lips. Sarah glanced at me disdainfully and muttered under her breath, says, just okay. But he's watching so intently. Someone in the comments asked, Teacher, someone as excellent as you. Have you ever had a crush on someone? Another comment immediately appeared. How could that be? Teacher is knowledgeable, has a goddess-level look, good personality. How could such a perfect person have a crush? Professor Sophia is only meant to be crushed on. Heard many guys at N University like Professor Sophia. Sophia read the comments and smiled softly. I'm afraid I'll disappoint you, she said, her voice light. Someone as perfect and flawless as me has also had a crush, and it was unsuccessful. Comments exploded, everyone wanting her to elaborate. Sophia began gathering her books, smiling. Today's live stream is over, she announced. Wish everyone a good day. A sudden, inexplicable irritation surged through me. How many faces did Sophia have? Why was she so rigid and boring in front of me, constantly buried in books, barely speaking unless spoken to? Yet on screen, she could talk so eloquently, dropping insightful golden phrases one after another. Just as I settled into my office, Sophia called. I could hear the apology in her voice. Sorry, Ethan, I was working earlier and my phone was off. Have the divorce papers been drafted? I can take leave this morning. You bring the agreement, I'll sign at the Civil Affairs Bureau, and we can complete the procedures right away. It'll save time. Save time? Was she in such a hurry? That eager to divorce? In my anger, I suddenly forgot that I was the one in a hurry to divorce. Forgot the promise I'd made to Scarlett that very morning. My tone was beyond bad. It was terrible. What? Professor Sophia is in such a rush to divorce. Are you preparing to rekindle an old flame with your crush? What? Sophia paused, clearly taken aback. She heard the displeasure in my voice, but her upbringing showed. She didn't argue back. Instead, she replied patiently. Ethan, I don't understand what you mean. I thought you were in a hurry to remarry. That's why I suggested saving time. Did I say something wrong? She always managed to stay so calm. No matter how unreasonable I was, how much I pushed, she could humor me with a smile, maintaining that placid demeanor. Before, I thought her emotional stability was a soothing balm for my turbulent spirit. But now, I truly suspected it was because she simply didn't care about me, didn't care about this marriage, that she could remain so utterly emotionless. Sophia, I pressed, I want to know, did this divorce hurt you even a tiny bit? Sophia was silent. It seemed she was confirming it hadn't. She was in a hurry, but now I wasn't anymore. I'm very busy lately, I said, my voice cold. I'll have my secretary contact you when I have free time. I hung up angrily. But why I was angry, I couldn't say. During the morning meeting, texts kept flooding in. Everyone stopped to look at me as my phone buzzed relentlessly. I opened it, finding a stream of bank card spending notifications. It seemed Scarlett was on a shopping spree. Most of what she bought was jewelry and handbags. When I first met Scarlett years ago, she also loved all kinds of jewelry, but she could only afford street vendor stuff. I had given her a classic Cartier bracelet once, and it made her so happy. She hugged me and gave me a grateful kiss. That's the kind of woman she was. Simple, easily satisfied. Thinking about spending my money on the woman I loved, I felt a strange sense of pride, a deep satisfaction in being able to provide for her. I sent a message to Scarlett. Hey girl, shopping spree? I'll go shopping with you this weekend. Scarlett immediately sent back a fiery red lips emoji. I smiled and closed my phone. Every day I spent with Scarlett, I felt like I was transformed back into that 17, 18-year-old impulsive kid, not the composed, 28-year-old Mr. Miller, head of a corporation. She found countless ways to surprise me in bed. I truly regretted the 3 years we had lost. But after our intimacy, Scarlett lay in my arms, asking pitifully, have you talked to your ex-wife about the divorce? Is she refusing? I couldn't bring myself to tell her the truth, that it was because I didn't want Sophia to get her way, which was why I hadn't contacted her. So I just casually replied. Give her some time to process it, I said. Don't rush her. It'll only make things more troublesome. Scarlett nodded understandingly. Okay, if she still refuses, just give her more assets. The most important thing right now is to get the divorce done. I signed a prenuptial agreement with Sophia, I said. When we divorce, she won't take a single penny of mine. Scarlett looked almost incredulous. Won't take a penny? Can she really do that? I nodded. Sophia has no concept of money. Her head is completely filled with her philosophy. Scarlett scoffed dismissively. People say bookworm for a reason. Read too many books and you just become stupid. I pinched her nose lightly and pulled her beneath me again. That's right. I chuckled. There's no one like my Scarlett. So understanding, so clever. That weekend, I took Scarlett to the mall to look at wedding rings. I always felt that my first marriage was to a woman I didn't truly want. Now that I was finally marrying Scarlett, the woman I loved, there would be no shortage of ceremony and significance. While Scarlett debated between a classic white diamond and a romantic pink diamond, I grew bored and idly glanced around the luxury jewelry store. And then, I saw her. Sophia. She was coming out of a fitting room in a nearby boutique. She had taken off her glasses and was wearing stylish spaghetti strap shorts and strappy sandals, looking like a vibrant, carefree college student. Her neck was slender and graceful, her calves shapely and smooth. If it weren't for her inherently gentle demeanor, I might not have even recognized her. Beside her was the unruly daughter of the Bennett family, Chloe. I had no idea why these two women, whose personalities seemed completely incompatible, were friends. Chloe was clearly unimpressed with Sophia's outfit and impatiently tugged down Sophia's strap a little further. Sophia gasped, startled, covering her chest and jumping back a big step, looking as panicked as a little rabbit. I had completely forgotten. Without her glasses, Sophia was actually a genuinely beautiful woman. Sophia was always so quiet. I had thought that even with the undeniably unfair prenuptial agreement, she would eventually reveal a greedy side, using her intellect to claim what she believed was due to her. As Mrs. Miller. But Sophia never overstepped. Her only instances of proactive communication were those times she would approach me when I was cooking, holding a bowl and silently pleading for a share. Gradually, I let down my guard around her. This arranged marriage partner, I thought, wasn't so bad after all. She was quiet, not troublesome. In front of my parents, we became less awkward, putting on a more natural performance of a married couple. My father noticed our seemingly improving relationship and ordered us to take a honeymoon. Who gets married without a honeymoon? People will laugh us out of town. He even insisted we take mandatory leave from work. With no other choice, Sophia and I discussed it. A trip might be nice, we agreed. However, we would buy our own tickets and travel separately. After all, my father wasn't going to send private investigators to follow us. I chose to go diving at the Great Barrier Reef. I deeply enjoyed the floating sensation from the water pressure, the feeling of being completely immersed. It helped me reconnect with something lost within myself. When I emerged from the changing room in my diving gear, several men by the water were whistling in one direction. I turned to see what they were. Looking at and saw Sophia, also in full professional diving gear. Her fair face looked lovely and charming, utterly unlike her usual demure self. The fitted swimsuit hugged her figure, revealing curves I hadn't known she possessed. I was just about to demand why she was following me when the diving instructor beside her, an older man named John, asked in fluent English, "Sue, why are you later than usual this year?" Sophia replied in equally fluent English, "Yes, some things delayed my trip this year, John. Are you well?" I was immensely relieved I hadn't voiced my accusation. I never expected the rigid, quiet Sophia to be a diver, and apparently, a regular one at that. Sophia saw me and looked just as surprised. We stared at each other for a moment, then both looked down and smiled. That feeling, how can I describe it? In that moment, I thought of the word destiny. The instructor squatted down to tie the weight belt around Sophia's waist, his hand brushing her slender midriff. That brief contact, that simple gesture, struck me with unexpected sharpness. It felt irritating. "I'll do it," I said, stepping forward to take over from the instructor. Sophia looked at me, her eyes wide with surprise, then stood there quietly, obediently, barely daring to breathe heavily. Her waist was so incredibly thin, it felt like a delicate crescent moon, as if a gentle breeze could blow it away. Underwater, Sophia was transformed. She was like a nimble fish, a graceful water snake, even like a figure from a sacred ancient painting. As if possessed by an impulse I couldn't control, I swam gently to her side and kissed her. That night, in that foreign land, we had our first physical intimacy. Sophia's body was like water, flowing and shaping itself to mine. That unparalleled yielding and harmony, that deep, unexpected fit, intoxicated me. Now, standing in the mall, looking at Sophia's exposed midriff and seeing that same slender waist I had once held, an uncontrollable surge of anger flared within me. We hadn't even registered the divorce yet, and she was already dolling herself up, seemingly eager to start her second spring? Why? Hadn't I seen before that Sophia could be this outwardly demure, but inwardly free-spirited? And what was up with Chloe? She herself had been a wild child since she was young, completely unrestrained. Was she leading Sophia astray? Wasn't she afraid of corrupting a good student like Sophia? Scarlett sensed my gaze and looked over, confused. Who is that? She asked. So pretty. Is she a celebrity? I gritted my teeth, the words coming out sharper than intended. My ex-wife. Scarlett paused, a slight cough escaping her. Oh, that's your ex-wife? She looks pretty ordinary, doesn't she? And clearly not someone to be trifled with. No wonder she's refusing the divorce. I'm going to go deal with her. Before I could react, Scarlett had already marched into the women's clothing store where Sophia and Chloe were browsing. Fine, let her go. I might as well see what Sophia would do. Scarlett, arms crossed, walked directly up to Sophia and deliberately bumped her aside as Sophia was looking in a mirror. Sophia stumbled back, a look of utter bewilderment on her face. Scarlett looked down at her own freshly manicured nails, then smirked, looking at Sophia with undisguised contempt. Well, who do we have here? Scarlett sneered. If it isn't the ex-wife. How awkward to run into you here. It was only then that Sophia saw me standing behind Scarlett. She looked at me, confusion in her eyes, blinking slowly. I ignored her. I wanted to confront her myself about what was going on. Chloe stepped forward, shielding Sophia with a protective posture, radiating an intimidating big sister aura. Who the hell are you, hag? Who here is? Your sister? Chloe, in her usual blunt manner, then seemed to realize. Oh, you're Ethan Miller's blind date. He's divorcing to Mary, the waitress. Scarlett's face immediately flushed crimson. Biting her red lips, she erupted in curses. You're the waitress. Your whole family are waitresses. Chloe smiled coolly. Sorry, my family's in real estate. We have no plans to enter the restaurant industry anytime soon. And you, little mistress, I haven't even come looking for you yet, and you show up on my doorstep. What? Proud of being a mistress? Chloe's voice was loud, carrying easily through the store, and soon, a crowd of curious onlookers gathered around us. Sophia tugged gently at Chloe's sleeve. Let's go, she murmured. It's not worth it. But Scarlett wasn't done. She immediately grabbed Sophia's wrist, her grip surprisingly strong. Go? Did I say you could go? I'm asking you. You clearly agreed to divorce Ethan. So why are you going back on your word? Going back on my word? Sophia looked at Scarlett, then at me, her expression utterly bewildered. I lowered my head awkwardly, unable to meet her gaze. That's right. Scarlett pointed a finger at Sophia's face. Unless you're deliberately dragging this out, trying to cause trouble, why haven't the papers been signed? It can't possibly be Ethan. Who's delaying things, can it? We're all women here. Don't try to play the innocent victim in front of me. You just want to get pity from everyone by acting like a poor, crying wife, don't you? I felt a flicker of unease. Scarlett was going too far. I had lived with Sophia for 3 years. I knew she wasn't acting innocent. She was always calm, composed. She had never once gotten into a conflict with anyone. She was probably genuinely shocked and scared by Scarlett's outburst. I was just about to step forward and intervene when Scarlett, fueled by the growing crowd's attention, dragged Sophia towards the center of the gathering, shouting as she went. Everyone, come see, she yelled, her voice pitched for maximum effect. This woman stole my boyfriend 3 years ago. She broke up a loving couple and married him using despicable, underhanded means. He didn't fall in love with her in 3 years, and she finally agreed to divorce him, but now she's backing out. Isn't it just to get more money in the settlement? Don't be fooled by her fake, innocent act. Not all original wives deserve sympathy. For a moment, the surrounding people just stared at each other, unsure what to make of the spectacle. Fingers began pointing, flicking between Sophia and Scarlett's faces. Scarlett, still craving more drama, grabbed my arm, trying to pull me into the scene. Ethan, say something, she demanded. Tell them, isn't she the one shamelessly refusing to get divorced? Enough. I yanked my arm free from her grasp. Living in the corporate world, maintaining appearances was paramount. I had never been this publicly humiliated in my life. I was stunned by Scarlett's ability to twist and exaggerate the truth so wildly. Seeing her clawing, shouting demeanor, then looking at the tears welling up in Sophia's eyes, I felt nothing but a crushing annoyance. I turned and walked quickly towards the mall exit. Scarlett saw I was angry and ran after me. Ethan, wait for me. I quickened my pace, wanting only to get as far away from her and the scene as possible. That night, I slept at my office. Scarlett sent a barrage of tearful apologies and justifications via text, but I didn't want to read any of them. I didn't love Sophia, but, in all fairness, in the 3 years of our marriage, she hadn't hurt anyone. She married me 3 years after Scarlett, and I had broken up. How could Scarlett hurt her so wantonly, so publicly? Thinking this, I sent Sophia a brief message, expressing my apology for the scene at the mall. Then I saw it. Sophia had blocked me. The next morning, out of habit, I opened University's official livestream page to watch Sophia's broadcast. For the past few days, I had found myself coming to the office early just to tune in. The more I watched, the more intrigued I became. Today, she was back, gently and patiently answering questions as always, seemingly unaffected by the previous day's events. But a subtle hint of blue under her eyes betrayed that she hadn't slept well the night before. My apology in my heart deepened. Suddenly, Sarah shouted from outside my office. "Oh my God, my goddess is being slandered." "Which goddess?" someone asked nearby. "Who else?" "Professor Sophia is my only goddess." Sophia was being slandered? I walked out with a stern expression. "What's going on?" "Slandered? Boss, look. There's news about Professor Sophia everywhere. It feels like someone paid a lot of money to smear her reputation. There are so many internet trolls leaving hateful comments." I looked at the screen of Sarah's phone. The large headline made my heart seize up for a second. Famous viral professor discusses marriage and love online, abandoned by husband in reality. The article dissected Sophia's public image, claiming it was all a facade. It painted her as rigid and boring in reality, someone who used unsavory means to break up a couple and marry the man, only to be discarded by her husband after 3 years. Subconsciously, I checked the recent spending notifications on the black card I had given Scarlett. After scrolling through the list, I was so enraged I nearly lost my footing. Sophia had been slandered, and the person behind it was Scarlett. I couldn't believe it. While she was sending me tearful apologies and promises of never doing it again, Scarlett was simultaneously contacting reporters and orchestrating a smear campaign. She hadn't even fully entered the world of the wealthy elite yet, and she had already mastered these low-down, vicious tactics. I immediately called Scarlett. "Scarlett," I demanded, my voice dangerously low. "Who told you to do this?" At first, Scarlett denied it. But when I told her I could see the black card spending records, she finally panicked a little and burst into tears. "If she had just agreed to divorce you readily," she cried plaintively, her voice thick with feigned hurt. "How could I have been forced to resort to these means? Ethan, I did all of this because I love you. I just wanted to be with you openly sooner. Why don't you understand my heart?" "Scarlett," I said, my voice cold and distant. "I told you I would divorce her and then marry you." Yes, I know, Ethan," she sniffled. "I was just impatient. It was my fault." "Yes," I agreed flatly. "You were too impatient. And people in a hurry tend to expose their true colors. So, Scarlett, I'm taking back what I said before. About our marriage. I need to reconsider before making a decision." "Ethan," Scarlett's voice rose in panic. But I couldn't stand to hear her voice any longer. I hung up the phone and immediately drove to University to find Sophia. I had to apologize to her. This whole mess started because of me, because of my callous actions and twisted priorities. I had to take responsibility and beg for her forgiveness. When I arrived at the university, Sophia was teaching a class. I quietly slipped into the back row. Her lecture was just as engaging as her live streams, punctuated by frequent laughter from the students. She seemed to possess an inner peace, always capable of viewing things calmly, no matter what was happening around her. During the free discussion segment, a girl sitting near me, wearing heavy makeup, stood up. Her question was directed pointedly at Sophia. "Professor Sophia," she began, her voice loud and clear. "Online, you're praised for your vast knowledge and interesting lectures. But you stole someone else's boyfriend and couldn't win your husband's heart for 3 years. Doesn't this show that you're just talking theory? Do classes like this truly offer practical guidance for our lives? Do you, with this kind of character and teaching level, really deserve to be our teacher?" The classroom fell into stunned silence after the girl finished speaking. A triumphant smirk curved the girl's lips, and she glanced down at her phone, quickly sending a message. The message preview flashed. "Did everything you told me to. Mrs. Song, don't forget to transfer the money." My eyes widened in shock. The name at the top of the chat? Scarlett. Buying smear articles wasn't enough. She actually hired someone to come here, to Sophia's university, to publicly ruin her reputation. I had no idea Scarlett could be this ruthless, this completely bent on destruction. Even the most cutthroat businessmen knew to leave a little room for retreat, a shred of dignity. But Scarlett, she was giving Sophia no way out. This was Sophia's most loved subject, her most cherished platform. Everyone in the classroom was staring intently at Sophia, watching her every expression. Some students even took out their phones, starting live streams of their own. Sophia slowly gathered her teaching materials, her movements deliberate. She surveyed the classroom, her gaze calm but penetrating. A quiet smile curved her lips, but it held a distinct undertone of bitterness. "Yes," she said softly, her voice carrying a profound sadness. "I thought I understood more truths and principles than others, yet I still couldn't live my own life well." She paused, her gaze sweeping across the room. "The question this student just asked. I've thought about it too. Perhaps before, I was too arrogant, always believing I could offer some significant insight to everyone. Now, I feel that I myself am the one who most needs to quiet down and study." Sophia pushed up her glasses. The corners of her eyes were visibly moist, but her lips still held that gentle, sad smile. "So, before coming to teach this class, I had already submitted my resignation to the university," she announced, her voice steady despite the visible emotion. "This will be our last class together, students. The wind rises across the four seas. Everyone, take care." With that, Sophia turned smoothly and walked off the podium, exiting the classroom with quiet dignity. Many girls in the classroom burst into tears, shouting after her, "Professor Sophia, we believe in you. We'll always love and support you. We hope everything goes well for you." Sophia waved a hand behind her, but she didn't turn back. My heart felt heavy, weighted down with an unbearable sadness. At first, I thought we could part amicably, that even if we couldn't be husband and wife, we could still be friends. I never expected that in the end, I would be the cause of Sophia losing the career she clearly loved. Seeing that bitter smile on her face, my heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. I wanted desperately to rush forward, to pull her slender body into my arms, to tell her that I didn't want the divorce anymore, that we should stay together. I had come to realize I actually quite liked cooking for her, and I had grown accustomed to her quiet, comforting presence. I missed listening to her gentle voice on those tiring nights, the way she could always calm my frustrations. Just as I was about to follow her out, a man who had been waiting patiently outside the classroom stepped forward and walked to her side. He was tall and well-built, with a handsome face, and looked quite young. If not for the sharp, expensive suit he wore, he could easily have been mistaken for a student. The man looked at Sophia with focused tenderness, a warmth that was unmistakable. "Sophia, are you all right?" he asked, his voice low and concerned. He took the teaching materials from her hand and looked at her face, his expression full of sympathy. Sophia smiled faintly, saying nothing. The man didn't press further. He simply positioned himself beside her, shielding her slightly with half his shoulder, a silent, possessive stance. Was he? The man Sophia had a crush on? He had an outstanding appearance, a noble bearing, and a powerful aura. He was certainly a remarkable presence, impossible to ignore. I clenched my fist, staying rooted to the spot. I didn't follow them. Instead, I walked outside the teaching building and lit a cigarette. Before I had even finished it, my phone rang. It was Scarlett. I hadn't received a call from her in a long time. After that night at the mall and my subsequent cold shoulder, she had initially called constantly, weeping and pleading, declaring her undying devotion. But I had warned her that if she didn't stop harassing me, I would make sure she couldn't stay in the city. She had been quiet ever since. Why call now? Did she need more money again? I answered, my voice sharp with impatience. Speak quickly. If it's about money, don't bother. Scarlett on the other end sounded incredibly excited, her voice choked with sobs, but this time, with joy. Ethan, you're going to be a father. I'm pregnant. Boom. Everything went black for a second. My ears rang, the sound filling my head. I want to see Scarlett. She sat there, a picture of demure shyness, gently cradling her still flat stomach. Ethan, I'm so happy, she whispered, her voice soft and earnest. My biggest wish in this life was to have a child for you. Get an abortion, I said, the words flat and emotionless. What? Scarlett recoiled in disbelief, her hands instinctively tightening protectively around her belly. Ethan Miller, are you really going to be this cruel? This is your flesh and blood. It's the fruit of our love. I took a deep breath, trying to maintain some semblance of control. Name your price. Any amount. Just get rid of the child. Ha ha. Scarlett burst out laughing, a strange, unsettling sound. Ha ha ha. She looked at me, her eyes glittering with something cold and hard. Ethan Miller, I'm not going to abort this child. I've already contacted all the major media outlets in the city. If you don't marry me, the Miller family can say goodbye to their empire. They can wait for bankruptcy. I scoffed, trying to appear unfazed. Sleeping with a woman, having a child. That's enough to make the Miller family go bankrupt? You think too highly of yourself, Scarlett. What if, she countered, leaning forward, her voice dropping to a chilling whisper. It's during a critical period of reform for Miller Group, when any scandal could be a handle for a rival company to destroy you. I froze. She had found my weakness, my absolute lifeline. My tone softened, a desperate plea entering my voice. Scarlett, I truly cannot marry you. Get the abortion, take the money, live a lavish, carefree life? Isn't that a better outcome for you? No, she said, shaking her head slowly, a calculating look in her eyes. It's not. I'm not the foolish girl from 6 years ago. Money always runs out eventually. But marrying a man who can make money, that's how you secure a worry-free life forever. Scarlett was right. Miller Group was at a critical stage in my reform plans. Any major scandal, any public instability, could be devastating. I couldn't afford any mistakes. And so, my father sighed, looking older than his years, and told me to marry Scarlett. The debt you owe, he said, his voice weary. You'll have to pay it yourself. No matter how unwilling I was, I had no choice but to marry Scarlett. There was no wedding ring, no wedding dress, no ceremony. I never went back to the house where Scarlett lived. Coming full circle, my second marriage followed the same miserable path as my first. I didn't go to find Sophia again. I had no face left to show her, but I continued to quietly follow her news. Sophia and Liam Blackwood went to the United States together. My private investigator reported that Liam had liked Sophia for years, even back then. He was only 19 when they first met, and Sophia had seen him only as a younger brother, not romantically. Miss Hayes' trip to the U.S. isn't for Mr. Blackwood, the detective said. It's because the advanced study program Miss Hayes chose just happens to be in the U.S. I sighed in relief. Good. Sophia wasn't with Liam yet. Liam Blackwood was 6 years younger than her. Even if he was mature for his age, he was still just a childish younger brother compared to me. How could Sophia possibly like him? Once the company got through this critical period, I would definitely divorce Scarlett, go to the U.S., and win Sophia back. The detective's photos kept coming back. Sophia refused the luxurious villa Liam offered, choosing to rent her own small apartment. I was so happy I wanted to dance. Sophia didn't let Liam pick her up or drop her off for school. I felt a surge of triumph. Sophia clearly saw through Liam. She didn't look down on me for being childish. Then the reports changed. Sophia agreed to celebrate Liam Blackwood's birthday with him. They had a quiet candlelight dinner. I was so angry I smashed the fish tank in my office. Liam started accompanying Sophia to her classes, and she didn't refuse. His company. That night, I was so miserable, I cried quietly in the dark. Liam Blackwood stole a kiss from a sleeping Sophia, and Sophia didn't even know. I wanted to scream, to rage, to find Liam Blackwood and kill him for being a scoundrel. As Liam Blackwood's presence in Sophia's life grew stronger, my obsession, my desperate need to watch her, became all-consuming. Several times, I secretly flew to the United States, watching Sophia from a distance, unseen. And I watched Liam Blackwood, constantly circling around her, finding ways to make her smile, to make her happy. Finally, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I ambushed Sophia outside her apartment building one evening. Sophia, I choked out, my voice thick with regret. I regret it. I regret divorcing you. I regret being so blind, waking up too late. Can you give me just a little more time? I'm working hard to move things along, to get divorced. Give me just one more month, and I promise, I'll divorce Scarlett and come back here to propose to you. Please, please don't be with Liam Blackwood. Okay, I know you liked me. And I like you too. I love you. We belong together. By the end, tears streamed down my face, and I found myself kneeling on the sidewalk before Sophia. Sophia took a step back, creating distance between us. Her voice, when she spoke, was polite but achingly distant, devoid of any warmth I might have remembered. Mr. Miller, she said quietly, Please have some self-respect. If you love, love deeply. If you abandon, abandon completely. Don't be ambiguous. It only hurts yourself and others. She gently walked around me, her silhouette fading into the night, and closed the door to her apartment, leaving me alone on the pavement. The company finally stabilized. Every day, I looked forward to the possibility of going back to the United States to seek out Sophia, to somehow try again. And then, Scarlett had a premature birth. She had been using the money I gave her to support other men, living a reckless lifestyle that had finally caught up with her. Her water broke unexpectedly. When I rushed to the hospital, the doctor asked for the family signature for a procedure. "We're very sorry," the doctor explained, his voice grave. "The child had no breath when born. The mother has a history of multiple abortions. Her uterus was too fragile. There was severe hemorrhaging during labor, and we had no choice but to perform a hysterectomy." I must have gone mad. Hearing the doctor's words, my first reaction was a surge of sickening relief. So good, I thought. The child is dead. Now Scarlett can't use a child to blackmail me anymore. So good. Scarlett has lost her uterus. She can never carry my child again. So good. I'm finally free. Scarlett, post-surgery, lay weakly in the hospital bed, pale and fragile. When she saw the faint, involuntary smile that touched the corner of my mouth, her eyes filled with cold, pure hatred. "Ethan Miller," she whispered, her voice weak but venomous. "You must be celebrating inside, aren't you? Already fantasizing about remarrying Sophia? If it wasn't for you," I replied, my voice flat, "Sophia and I wouldn't have divorced at all." "Ethan Miller," she said, a chillingly distorted smile playing on her lips. "Have you ever thought? I have absolutely nothing now, and that means I have to hold on to you even tighter. Do you really think you have any leverage left now?" I challenged, though the events of the past few days had hollowed me out. "I do," Scarlett grinned, a twisted, terrifying expression on her face. "I do. Ethan Miller, I know you love Sophia. So, Sophia is my leverage." My heart plummeted. I stared intently at her, my blood running cold. Scarlett somehow found the strength to prop herself up in the bed. Even though her face contorted with pain, she gritted her teeth and sat upright. "Ethan Miller," she vowed, her voice barely a whisper but filled with horrifying intent. "If you dare abandon me, I will kill Sophia. I have nothing left now. A barefoot man doesn't fear the one with shoes. I can do anything. Ethan Miller, I want you to come to hell with me." Scarlett's smile stretched, becoming a grotesque, maniacal grimace. I suddenly remembered my father's angry words to me. Good words can't persuade a doomed fool. My retribution had finally arrived. I gave up struggling. I didn't divorce Scarlett. I lived primarily at my office, rarely returning even to my parents' home, because whenever I saw the look of disappointment and regret in their eyes, I couldn't help but be reminded of the foolish mistakes I had made, the life I had so carelessly thrown away. Scarlett indulged in her reckless lifestyle, continuing to take lovers. I had no idea how many times she cheated on me. The media mocked me as the most pathetic husband in history, but I felt nothing. I didn't care. It seemed I had become numb, devoid of all feeling. One day, Sarah suddenly shouted from her desk outside my office. "Wow, my goddess got married, and her husband is the only son of the city's richest man." I snatched her phone. In the video, Liam Blackwood, looking handsome in a sharp suit, was smiling broadly, confirming the news to reporters. "Yes," he said happily. "I've loved Sophia for many years, and I've been waiting for her. Being able to marry her is the luckiest thing in my life. She wasn't happy before, but I will spend my life healing her, making her happy. Sophia, I love you." Sarah covered her mouth, tears in her eyes. "He loves her so much," she sobbed. "I knew Professor Sophia deserved the best." My hand dropped powerlessly to my side. Tears streamed down my face, blurring my vision. Yes, I thought, silent and broken. Sophia deserved the best. It was good. This time, she was finally happy.